Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video. This time, we will be looking at both the most overrated and underrated attractions at Epic Universe. So let's just jump right into this. Epic Universe is the brand new theme park that opened in May 2025 at the Universal Orlando Resort. The park is truly a masterclass at theming and immersion, and while some of the attractions are great, others are not so great. But today I'm going to be looking at the most overrated and underrated attractions at the park. Now, me saying an attraction is overrated doesn't mean it's a bad ride, it just means I don't think it deserves the praise that it gets, and same with the underrated. It's not that it's a great ride, it just means that it doesn't get enough credit. Let's start with the overrated attraction. Now, there are some truly bad attractions at this park. Fire Drill, Dragon Racers Rally, Donkey Kong Minecart Madness, but those all get the dislike they deserve. To me, the most overrated attraction at Epic Universe is Harry Potter and the Battle at the Ministry. Again, I don't think Ministry is a bad attraction at all. But many are calling it the best dark ride in the world, or, even in the park, and I just can't agree. First off, the queue is both phenomenal and mediocre. The first area before the fireplaces is literally just a tunnel, and the extended queue is the extended queue. Then you actually get into the Ministry through the Flu Network, which is neat, and then have that breathtaking reveal. This is the single best room in a theme park queue ever. I mean, it's just fantastic. But then after that, you head into the rest of the queue and it gets kind of plain. I mean, there are some details such as talking portraits, the vacuum cleaner, the check-in area behind the atrium is really nice, but it's just okay. It's a lot of beige hallways with some really nice green and purple tile work, but then again, when you're standing there for 3 hours on end, it kind of gets tiring looking at the same tile work over and over and over again. I will say though, Umbridge's office is really cool, and while I think the Higgledy animatronic is creepy, I think it's also great. But then it's a bunch of stairs after that. It's another beige hallway with some tiles. The load station though is really cool. It looks exactly like the lift boarding area in the movies. So out of this massive queue, there's 3 rooms that are noteworthy. And that's it. Then there's the ride vehicles, which they're fine. It's a ride vehicle. It doesn't really have a restraint. It has a seat belt, which is a pain to get on. The seats are a little low, but otherwise it's fine. As for the ride experience itself, it's a ride. The physical set to screen integration is fantastic. It can be hard at times to tell what is physical and what is a screen. There are also 3 of the best animatronics ever created in the ride. The 2 Death Eaters and the Erumpent animatronics are just phenomenal. The Erumpent is also one of the best large animatronics ever built, but the ride is a lot of screens. I mean, a lot. So you start off, it's a screen. Then you have 3 more screen scenes with a small animatronic lift in the middle. Then there's Death Eater 1, phenomenal animatronics set in front of a screen. Then there's a small physical set portion with some projection mapping and smoke. And then Death Eater 2, and behind it is another screen. Then a physical set, and another screen that leads to another screen. Then there's a segment of physical sets with the Erumpent scene before you get to another screen in the time room. Then a second time room screen. Then you turn and you get to the part where Umbridge is an animatronic, which it's okay. But it's set in front of a screen on a physical piece. Again, in front of a screen. Then you transition to a physical set courtroom. I'm sorry, but what in the world is this? The animatronic faces are terrible. It's projection mapping, which is exactly what Victoria Frankenstein uses, and she is on point. These are ashy, they're weird, and the people in the back of the courtroom are so obviously mannequins. It's like, what happened here? And then after that, you see one more screen and lift set, and then you pull into the waiting area before the unload station, which is a physical set, and it's okay. So the ride is good, but that ending, man, woof. But then again, it seems like Epic Universe couldn't figure out how to finish their rides either. My other issue with the ride is I don't get off hyped. We return to the unload station, I just go, okay, did that today. It was good. I don't need to come back in here. I don't need to waste another 3 hours or take up another AP slot just for this. I don't know if it's the amount of screens they used or if it's just that the ride vehicle movement isn't super dynamic, and the movement that the ride vehicle has is really kind of herky-jerky and like not great. It's not clean and smooth. It's just kind of meh. I mean, Battle at the Ministry is not a bad ride by any means, but to me, it does not deserve the title or love of being the best attraction at a theme park, the best dark ride ever. It's not. It's barely even a dark ride. It is a dark ride, but it's more of a screen-based ride. It's more like old school Universal, where it's a lot of screens, some physical sets, but mostly screens. Don't get me wrong, the screens in this are fantastic, but like I said, I'm really focusing on the screens here, but that was my biggest issue when I came off it the first time. I went, wow, that was a lot of screens. Now let's move over to the most underrated attraction at Epic Universe. For me, this would have to be Hiccup's Wing Gliders. Hiccup's is a prototype Intamin family launch coaster. The coaster doesn't have any posted stats, but it really can't be more than about 65, 80 feet tall. Can't be going more than probably like 40 miles an hour. But this ride is just fun. The queue, I will admit, isn't great. It's a cattle pen with some cover. It's okay. The trains are not terrible. They're cute looking, and I've actually started to figure out how to ride them. They're actually getting more comfortable, and I didn't get stapled on my most recent visit, so I'm starting to like them a little more. But as for the ride itself, you start by going through a small pre-launch segment that honestly has some pretty good speed for just pulling out of the station. You then slow into a show scene with a phenomenal toothless animatronic. The train then accelerates in a super punchy launch uphill. This is followed by a couple of dips and turns over the queue with some light negative forces and good whip. The train then unbanks and flies over a small airtime hill that's floaty before skating across the water with some decent whip and pop. It then dives under a bridge with phenomenal whip and some water effects. The train then pulls good forces in a tight helix around a rock formation. It then flies into the mid-ride show scene and slows to a crawl. The train creeps forward through some rock work before attempting to launch and rolling back. You then see some baby gronkles hatch before the train takes off in a super punchy uphill launch that leads into some whippy transitions through the Dragon Racer stands, with of course good whip and a couple of pops. This then ends with a flat speed hill that is followed by a twisted double down with good whip, before the train whips into an overbanked turn with more floatiness and does one final pop into the brake run. The ride is a ton of fun. It has a phenomenal setting using the entire land as its theming. It provides great whip and floatiness plus some positives throughout. The soundtrack is Test Drive from the movie, and it's absolutely fantastic. It matches the feel of the ride perfectly. The ride also has that little bit of intimate grittiness that the rides have. Like some coasters, Vekoma, looking at you, while fantastic, are now perfection. Like they are literally glass smooth. What I like about Intamin, especially Velocicoaster and Hiccups, it seems, they have a little bit of bite to them. Hiccups is a family coaster, yes, but it's got this little bit of a shimmy to it, a little bit of shake, a little bit of bite to it. So does Velocicoaster. But unfortunately, the reason I think this doesn't get the credit it deserves is it's such a small ride in comparison to the rest of the attractions. I mean, to be fair, You have like a carousel and an omnimover. Looking at you, Yoshi's, which I will say, I love Yoshi's, and I think that's another underrated ride. But those are... The carousel is not so much a big, heavy, IP-themed ride, but it's different than any other carousel. And Yoshi's is Nintendo, so of course it's popular. Of course it's getting the love. But Hiccups is kind of just there. And some people discredit it for being small, short in stature, just, the little Dragon's Family coaster. And it is not. Like, it is really a great attraction and very underrated. But those are my most overrated and underrated attractions at Epic Universe. Both are either good or great, but they either get too much attention or not enough. If you think I'm wrong, let me know. Let me know what you think is your favorite attraction at Epic Universe, or what one you think is overrated or underrated. That is all for this time, and I'll see you next time on another adventure.